It is shocking that billions do not realize the fact that all so-called men of God and their prophecies and their prophetic spirit as well as prophetic authority emerged immediately after the arrival of colonizers and enslavers who also were accompanied by European missionaries as well as Islamic traders and so-called peaceful jihadists. We want to discuss how you can unlock a suppressed ancient black prophecy. We know that all these prophets, Nzikana Akpan from Nigeria, Gamal, Goncalves Toko, William Ward Harris, Isaiah Shembe, Simon Kimbangu, Joan Marange, all of them started to prophesy when they received the Christian spirit that was put over them, or which they accessed after the arrival of missionaries, as we already indicated. Prophecy generally refers to the act of receiving and delivering messages from a divine source. The question that has never been asked by a lot of people and dealt with comprehensively is which divine source inspired all these colonial prophets or post-colonial prophets? We will give the answer in this video, where we will deal with the messages, prophecies, and often so-called future events and their guidance coming from a divine will delivered by these prophets, yet not coming from our own divine source. We want to unlock a suppressed ancient black prophecy. How can you unlock this suppressed prophecy? Who is suppressing it anyway? In our tradition as melanin dominant human beings, the concept of prophecy and the prophesying is not something that is very prominent or known by those words. The practices that gives us warnings, messages, ancient knowledge is there in our African culture, always fulfilled by the diviners, the seers, oracles, the shamans, and our systems like Ifa and Ubunyanga, Ubusangoma, Utwasa. All those gives the individuals ability to communicate with ancestors or the gods so that they can provide guidance, warnings, and insight into the future. So which gods inspires these prophets that are there today? Where are they getting their power? It's clear that their power can only come from the deities that propelled these people to come and destroy our own systems. Unlocking an ancient black prophecy. We read, and yet, since it is fitting that wise men should have knowledge of all events before they come to pass, you must not be left in ignorance of what I will now tell you. There will come a time when it will have been in vain, and it will be said it was in vain when Africans honored their gods with a heartfelt piety and service, and all our holy worship will be fruitless and ineffectual. Has this time come? What about all these religions and prophets? Let's probe further and investigate the source of this prophecy. It comes, as we have already indicated, from Jahute. Who is Jahute? And where did he get his messages from? Jahute is not Mzimu or ancestral spirit. Jahute is not Shikiro or a spirit medium. Jahute is not even Mondoro, ancestral spirit of a great king that transcends all clans. But Jahute is a Gombwe intercessor. Neither a man, neither a woman, neither a being, nor a spirit. That's the hierarchy. It's above that. Just there. Close to the parallel universes. But below the chasm. And also below the unknowable creator. That's Jahute. Jahute continues and says, pure philosophy is spiritual striving through constant contemplation to attain true knowledge of Atema, the one deity. But speaking now in prophecy, I say that in time to come, no one will pursue philosophy with a single-mindedness and purity of heart. Who is Atema? What type of knowledge should you have? Atema is an ancient African deity often considered one of the earliest or original gods, Gombwe. He is primarily associated with the city of Heliopolis now, but known as Unu or Bantu city, so-called On in the Bible, where creation myths were also known. Atema is depicted as the creator god who emerged from the primordial waters of Nyunyu and brought the universe into existence with his consort into Wasat. And then he created other gods, other deities who created the earth, the moon, the heavens, and everything else, and all the first principles that are now being discovered in quantum science. So let's continue to look now at the pyramid text as written to confirm the origins of Atema. In the pyramid text, it says, Atema is he who came into being of himself, self-created. Atema, I came into being in the form of Kepiri. Kepiri means transformation, can transform himself or herself. I became the becoming itself, powerful. This is quantum science. You see how quantum science has been able to understand this better than a lot of us. Coffin text, it says, I am he who came into being as Kepiri, he who created his own body, being. I was alone in the waters in a state of inertness. Then I began to move. How? We go to the Memphite theology. It says Atema came into being by himself. Quantum mechanics confirms these ideas and resonates intriguingly with our ancient concepts. Look at self-causation. The idea of Atema generating himself parallels certain quantum concepts like the universe emerging from a quantum vacuum, a state of nothingness or inertness that can still give rise to particles due to quantum fluctuations, the waves, how he aroused and generated himself. The wave function depicts the waters of Nyunyu, and the unity of opposite embodies the waters of Nyunyu, and the superposition of both this and that until observed changes echoes the mythological idea of all creation being one within the waters of Nyunyu, where Atema emerges before differentiation. Jahute continues and says, no one who pursues philosophy with single-mindedness and purity of heart, those with a grudging and generous temperament, will try and prevent men discovering the priceless gift of immortality. So he prophesied that immortality will be a problem. Philosophy will become confused, making it hard to comprehend. Knowledge of the immortal soul will be laughed at and denied. Now we saw that Greek philosophers, Epicurus, Lucretius, we also have seen most modern philosophers and thinkers like Thomas Hobbes and David Hume denying the existence of the immortal soul. We have seen that higher education today emphasizes evolution, which denies the existence of the immortal soul. Atheism and agnostics, which denies the existence of the immortal soul. So prophecy has been fulfilled so many times here. What about the Bible? The denial of the immortal soul, or the doctrine of the immortal soul, in Christianity is also there. Not all of Christians actually deny that, but even those that do not deny the immortal soul concept, they don't understand what is the soul. Let's look at this. If you read Ezekiel 18:4 and I think 20 also, it says, the soul that sinneth, it shall die. This verse tells you straightforward that the soul that sins will die, implying that the soul is not inherently immortal. If you read Ecclesiastes 9:5, it says, for the living know that they shall die, but the dead know not anything, neither have they any more a reward, for their memory is forgotten. This verse can easily be known and seen that it denies consciousness, which comes after death, challenging the idea of an immortal soul that remains aware of itself even after death. If you read what Jesus says in Matthew 10:28, you will find that Jesus says, and do not fear those who kill the body but cannot kill the soul, but who is able to destroy both soul and the body in hell. This verse implies that the soul can be destroyed, suggesting that it is not inherently immortal. Genesis 2:7 says, and the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. This verse is telling you and showing you that the soul is a result of the breath of life from a deity. And that's not correct. According to our teaching, the soul is a divine spark from beyond the chasm that has now come into matter. And when you look at this, you ask Christians, they say you have no immortal soul. The immortal soul doctrine is not taught in the Bible. This is prophecy fulfilled, because it says we will try and prevent men from discovering the priceless gift of immortality. Maybe you have, maybe you've been deceived. But I foresee that in times to come, clever intellectuals will mislead the minds of men, prophecy fulfilled, turning them away from pure philosophy, prophecy fulfilled. It will be taught that our sacred devotion was ineffectual, and the heartfelt piety and assiduous service with which we Africans honor Atema was a waste without a reward. Now people are asking, what happened to your gods? If your gods are powerful, if your ancestors are powerful, why are you defeated? This is prophesied that it will happen, it will be said by even some of us. We know that the majority of so-called geniuses that shaped our world today taught that God does not exist. Which God? Which God does not exist. This is ancient black prophecy that has been fulfilled. Such cleverness has come about. And we are also taught by Jahute in his prophecies that the gods will desert the earth and return to heaven, abandoning this land that was once the home of spirituality. It has happened. So those that say, where are your gods? They have abandoned the earth. They left the earth in charge of our divine kings. Commit to be forsaken and desolate, barefoot of the presence of the gods. That's happening now. They are digging up our graves. Nothing is happening to them. You can pray as much as you want. They continue. This is a prophecy. Hamid will be overrun. Africa will be overrun by foreigners who neglect our sacred ways. Yes, it's very, very clear. The Arabs that are there in Middle East, so-called Middle East, are not indigenous. They came from Turkey, and many of them came from Mongolia, and some from the Caucasus Mountains. This has been fulfilled. We continue. It says the survivors will be known as Egyptians or Africans by their language alone. It's into Bantu languages. But their actions, they will be like men of another race. Christians, Jews, Africans actually becoming Christians, a religion that colonized them, that Islamized them. They fall and accept that. And they accept these teachings, these foreign teachings that Egyptians are what and so forth. Prophecy fulfilled. Nothing will remain of your religion but an empty tale. Straightforward. Which even your children will not believe. Straightforward. Many of us are Christians. Many of us are Jews. Many of us are following even African traditions that are far removed from mysticism, but that borrow and have been syncretized and mixed with a lot of junk religion. Nothing will be left to tell you of your wisdom but only graven stones or ruins. Here they are, up to even to Zimbabwe, Mapungubwe, ruins. Right when you go to West Africa, ruins. Ancient ruins. Very, very sad. Prophecy fulfilled. Now, it then teaches another powerful section here. It says, and so the gods who depart from mankind. Why would the gods abandon the earth? Why? Because they knew and they know that once any human being remembers that they are a divine spark in a material situation, they will become invincible. They say by that living, it means a lot will be drained away. A grievous thing indeed, and only evil angels will remain. You read this book, Grey Aliens in Artificial Intelligence, the Grey Aliens, Harvesting of Human Souls by Nigel Kena. It will reveal to you what is actually happening with those angels, evil angels that are mingling with men and driving the poor wretches into all manner of reckless crime, into wars and robberies and frauds and all things hostile to the nature of the soul. This prophecy has been fulfilled because deceptive religions have not taught anything about your soul. Philosophies have said, you do not exist, you are just an accident through evolution. These religions are forcing your soul to go to sleep and to forget itself. They are false doctrines, a reckless crime, causing wars and robberies and frauds and physical pain and death. Because they want to harvest your energy. They want to harvest something from your divine spark that feeds these demons. This is all happening. Now, these prophets claim to have some prophetic authority. And as we have already given a verse where they say, touch not my anointed and do my prophets no harm, as to quote in Psalms 105:15. Who says this? It is Yahweh. Who is this Yahweh? Is a Canaanite deity. And this Canaanite deity Yahweh is a son of El, who was married to Asherah. And this El and Asherah gave birth to 3 humans that later were deified as gods: Baal And they also have a heavenly council with a lot of other gods. And this Hebrew Israelite, Hebrew Christian God, or Allah, or whatever God is, prior to becoming what they are as monotheistic today, they were part of the Canaanite pantheon. We know that the real creator is not a spirit, is not a being. It goes beyond the chasm. And therefore, the creator has not sent any man to preach, to teach to another divine spark. The divine spark has to awaken itself and escape the God deity paradigm. Because you are waiting to be blessed by Yahweh of Teman and by his Asherah. That's the Holy Spirit they talk about. So modern day prophets of God are modern day teachers of a deity. That's the truth. Deity Sabaoth, Aten, all these are deities. Yola, solar deity, Yaldabaoth, these are deities. Dragon, these are deities. Proto-Indo-European wind god, these are deities. Deities, Yahweh Sabaoth, Yahweh of host other deities. So modern day prophets do not teach things that are not hostile to the nature of the soul, but they teach things that are hostile to this ninefold soul, so that it goes to sleep and forgets itself. More of such mystical aspects suddenly will appear once you understand this ancient black prophecy when it is unlocked. These shocking truths are unknown by billions today. They are preached, things that make them go to sleep, by prophets, especially in Africa. When this is revealed, it will free your soul, your divine spark, from enslavers and alien colonists. Only African spirituality in its purest form, once connected, can unlock suppressed ancient black prophecy. Find more. Only African spirituality unlocks this suppressed ancient black prophecy, so that you can find more value and more beneficiation from understanding this doctrine. You can enroll into a Bantu Foundation Mysteries offered by Bantu University, where there are 14 video modules of Afro Spirit, True Identity Matters Most. Send us an email on john@matfado.com. Your manager to be please Jaraba LM Jaganja says, yes, only pure African spirituality unlocks suppressed ancient black prophecy by Jahute. Ameni.